Axiata Group and Indonesian conglomerate Sinar Mas Group are said to have revived talks that could lead to a merger of their telecommunications operations in Indonesia. Citing people familiar with the matter, a Bloomberg report said the owners of XL Axiata and Smartfren Telecom are working with advisors to help weigh a potential transaction. Its sources said other options under consideration could include network sharing agreements and partnerships. The people also reportedly said that deliberations are preliminary and there is no certainty that any deal will take place. According to the report, Smartfren President Director Mirza Fakhiz said he would wait and see on the progress of talks, and a representative for Sinar Mas referred the request to Smartfren. A representative for XL Axiata reportedly said they could not comment on speculation, while a spokesperson from Axiata was cited as saying that the telco giant is always on the lookout for collaborations and strategic partnerships and hopes to grow sustainably throughout its geographic footprint. A Reuters poll of economists show Bank Negara Malaysia will hold its key policy rate at 3% this Thursday, adopting the same no-change stance as most of its Asian peers amid signs of moderating economic growth and cooling inflation. A Reuters report noted inflation in Malaysia dropped to a two-year low of 2% in July, and the central bank, which does not particularly target inflation in setting monetary policy, said it would cool further. The report said that suggests BNM, having raised rates by a modest 125 basis points in the current cycle, has concluded its tightening, but will keep rates higher for longer as the weak ringgit may prevent inflation from falling quickly. All 27 economists in the August 29th to September 4th Reuters poll forecast the central bank would keep its benchmark overnight policy rate unchanged at 3% at this week's meeting, while medians showed it there through the next year. Quoting Lavanya Venkateswaran, senior ASEAN economist at OCBC Bank, the report said BNM has limited reasons to change its slightly accommodative policy stance for now. Plus, its rate hiking cycle was less aggressive than regional peers, implying that the room to pare back rate hikes is lower. PPB Group is cautious of a potential renewal of geopolitical tensions between Ukraine and Russia, which along with unpredictable weather conditions could choke grain and exert impact on the performance of its grains and agribusiness segments for the rest of the year. PPB's MD Lim Soon Huat stressed that potential supply risks on the downside could increase cost pressures in procuring raw materials. Meanwhile, Jeremy Gun, the CEO of PPB subsidiary FFM, said the group is monitoring the collapse of the grain deal between Russia and Ukraine and acknowledged that it is vital to seek alternative grain-producing countries due to difficulties of getting global insurers to cover grain ships travelling through Black Sea ports. Despite the uncertainty in the grains market, PPB Group expects better earnings recognition in the second half of FY 2023, mainly supported by its 18.8% owned agri-based Wilmar International. The associate company, which typically contributes about 75 to 80% of PPB's earnings, is expected to fare better in the coming months amid more stable consumer spending in China and the stabilization in the cost of raw materials. The Kuala Lumpur High Court has ordered Protasco's former director, Dato' Teh Por Yee, and his associate, Dato' Ooi Kok Aun, to pay the firm 84.64 million ringgit over breach of fiduciary and statutory duties related to a sale and purchase agreement signed in 2014. Protasco said the judgment sum, awarded on September 1st, will include an interest of 5% per annum to be calculated from September 22nd, 2014, the date of the writ of summons, until full and final settlement. Protasco sued Teh and Ooi on September 22nd, 2014 for breach of fiduciary and statutory duties after the company failed to acquire a 63% stake in Anglo-Slavic Indonesia for $22 million. According to its past filings, it also claimed that Teh and Ooi had failed to disclose their interest in the transaction and conspired to defraud the company and undertake secret profit-making. Shares of Protasco Protasco finished 5.1% lower at 18.5 cents, with a market capitalization of 91.65 million ringgit. Independent advisor Asia Equity Research has deemed KIP REIT's 80 million ringgit acquisition of KIPMall Kota Warisan in Sepang fair, reasonable and not detrimental to non-interested unit holders. Asia Equity Research said the dilutive effect of the proposed 10 million ringgit private placement is minimal and reasonable for the advantage of a lower gearing level at 35.2% in contrast to 36.2% as at June 30th, 2023 in the choice of capital mix. It added the number of new units is relatively small at about 1.98% of the enlarged unit holders' capital after completion of the exercise. The proposed acquisition results in earnings per unit of 10.06 cents from 10.03 cents before the proposed placement and dividend per unit of 6.17 cents from 6.07 cents, both excluding the one-off expenses. The firm recommended that non-interested unit holders vote in favour of the proposed deal at the upcoming meeting. KIP REIT's units traded 0.56% lower at 88.5 cents today, valuing the REIT at 533.65 million ringgit.